Welcome to Q&A Wednesday. I'm really excited to talk to you about ways that you can access your equity in your home. This is Dawn Connors at Mortgage One. Before we get started, if you like my video content, please like and subscribe. We're going to talk about two different ways you can access your equity. So on one hand, you can refinance your home, take out your equity, and rewrite the terms of your mortgage. On the other hand, you can do a second mortgage, also known as like a line of credit. So that's how we're going to break it down today. We're going to talk about two different options. So let's suppose that you own your house and the value of your home is $250,000 and you owe $100,000 on your house. Typically, you can access about 80% of your house's value. So on a $250,000 appraised value, you can access about $200,000. Well, you owe $100,000, so you have access to $100,000 in equity. Let's say you don't want to use all that equity, you just want to use maybe $60,000 of it. Well, you can option to rewrite the terms of your first mortgage, not having the mortgage anymore, so it would be paid off by $100,000, and you would have a new mortgage for $160,000. So in doing that, you would have a new interest rate, a new payment, and then at the closing of that refinance, you would get the $60,000 for your home improvements that you want to do, or paying off your debts, or doing what you wanted to with that $60,000. You don't have to disclose exactly to us what you're doing, just a general written statement that says what your plans are. On the other hand, on the other side of things, you have the ability to tap into your equity with an equity line of credit, also like a second mortgage, but it is a variable rate of interest. So on the mortgage side, it would be a fixed interest rate, no prepayment penalty, a new writing of your primary mortgage. On the other side of things, if you left your primary mortgage in place, you would have a second payment, a second mortgage, and it would be a subordinate mortgage or a second mortgage to your primary home. The advantages of that is there's no closing costs to open up a line of credit, where closing costs are about $3,500 on rewriting your mortgage. So your loan amount would probably be more like $163,500 on the first example that I gave. So on the line of credit, you would open up this line of credit again for $60,000 and just use the line of credit as you needed it, and you would pay for the interest payments and the principal back as you borrow the money. So if you borrowed all $60,000, then you would be required to make a full payment of, let's say, $335 if the interest rate was 6.5%. Well, that is the interest-only payment required. So if you pay more than that, which you'll want to, let's say $500 or $600, the difference of the interest and the mortgage payment that you pay will start to pay down that balance. If, on the other hand, you only borrowed $25,000 in your line of credit, you'd only be required to pay $135 a month, the interest only that was on that $25,000. And this is as an example of, say, at 6.5% interest. So the disadvantage is that it's a variable rate of interest, and so you don't know what the interest rate will be in the future, so you have this rate that adjusts typically when the Federal Reserve changes rates. On the other hand, you only pay the payments as you need it on this line of credit. So as you borrow the money, then you make the coinciding payments with the amount that you borrowed. So there's definitely different ways of going about it, and it just really depends on your circumstances. So you'll want to get with a mortgage professional such as myself to lay out a customized plan that's right for you, and that really lays out your special situations and circumstances and see which is better for you, a primary mortgage refinance or an equity line of credit. It'll really depend on how much you owe on that primary home, what your current interest rate is, how much your payments will be going up by doing that refinance versus an equity line of credit, how aggressive can you be at paying that line of credit off so that you don't have to deal with the large variations in payments that could come with it being a variable rate. Typically on a line of credit, there is a lock-in feature that you can usually execute after 6 months of having that line of credit, so that is also an option for you too. So this is Dawn Connors at Mortgage One, providing you fantastic mortgage solutions and just wanting to lay out the options for you at tapping into your home's equity, because you might have a lot of equity in your house and be cash poor. So you have the ability to access that equity in various ways. Thank you for watching.